It charged us.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Came right at us.
Came right at us. But, I mean, because...
Shot it out of freaking self-defense.
I was going to say, just like South Park, it's coming right for us.
It's coming right for us.
Welcome to the Shoot to Hunt podcast. In the bush, the African bush. We've got Father Christmas, Jake Mashani, and his little elf, Ryan. Too bad they cannot see anything in the bush.
The little elf is still mad at me for walking very fast.
Ooh.
Apparently the little elf has to run.
We wear Crocs.
He wears Crocs.
Well, if you rewind it 2 days, we started in Post Falls, Idaho. And then we got to, usually, and my wife just left the room, but she had tested. She was really freaking worried about the hour and 15-minute layover in Atlanta. If there was any mess ups, there's any fuck ups at all, we'd miss the flight.
Yep.
But it went really smooth.
I think most people worry about that.
Yeah, that's a tight, it's tight.
Or something happened and then they always worry about it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, but a wheel, somebody landed and a wheel blew up and it killed 2 people in Atlanta.
What?
Yesterday. On an airplane in Atlanta.
It must have blown up like it was pulling into the fucking...
I don't know if
into
it
the
killed
gate?
people in the plane
It
or
was-
it killed people
Oh.
on the ground.
It was
or-
probably a hot brakes. The guy got on the brakes too soon, and it takes, what is it, like 15 minutes to build peak pressures, and the tire exploded.
killed 2 people.
This is pilot talk now. Yeah,
Oh.
that's it's a real thing though. If you got hot brakes, you're supposed to go up to an area, park, and let it sit, and no personnel gets around it until it cools or explodes or whatever it's going to do.
Which I find interesting that it takes 15 minutes.
Well, it just takes that much time for the heat to radiate out and through the brake assembly into the wheel and everything, get it hot enough where it blows up. But it's a thing.
What I found interesting on the plane ride from Atlanta, or from Spokane to Atlanta, is Jake and Jessica were in front of me and Tanya. And Blaine was right behind Jake, and it looked like Jake was taking up 2 seats and encroaching on Jessica's space.
She said he was. Didn't look
Well,
like it. It really
right.
was that case.
And then I look back, and I'm kind of jumping forward, but we get on the plane for the 75 fucking hour plane ride to fucking Johannesburg. And I look up, and I look back, and Jessica is fucking smashed between 2 people. And Jake is laying there with his mouth wide open, fucking snoring.
Nice.
Out cold.
In your words, Jake, how was that fucking flight? Because you do get car sick, plane sick, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so I guess we could talk about the medication because I was definitely doped up pretty good. I kind of don't remember what it took. They gave us a real sleeping pill that's supposed to be stronger than Benadryl. I took 2 Xanax, 1 of those, and 2 Benadryls. And I had the patch behind the ear, the prescription grade.
The scope something.
Yeah, so right when I took those pills, I think it took about maybe 15 minutes, and she bought the thing. So there's this blow-up deal. You blow it up, and it has these slots so you can put your arms in like this, right? In the bottom of it, because I can't sleep unless I'm flat back this way, right? So I sleep like
It's bullshit.
on the
I
tray
put my
table,
head back past the
but not
button.
real sleep. That's like the nodding off. Okay, nodding off and sleeping are 2 different things.
You look fucking sleeping.
You know, like those people that they smoke the blue pills and you see them in the middle of the street and they're standing, but they're kind of doing this shit?
Yeah.
That's called nodding off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a temporary thing. So the real sleep happened when I have this jig that the wife got me, and you literally like slide your arms through like you're hugging something, and it rests here, and then it has a perfect circle to put your head in like this. And after 15 minutes, I fucking put my head in that thing, and I woke up, and it was like 14 hours left till we got here. I woke up, and it said 4 hours till you land.
Tanya fucking showed me one of those and
Yeah.
uses one. I thought it was totally stupid, but when I was watching her sleep, I was like, damn, I wish I had one.
Fucking badass, dude. So literally I slept 10 hours. It went from 14 to 4.
You call that a blow-up doll?
It did have holes all over the place. I don't know if you guys will use it for or not, but it was, if you haven't seen those before, I'm sure there's probably 127 varieties on Amazon or Alibaba or whatever, but the one that she bought, Temu, yeah. That thing, if you're the type of sleeper that can't go 8 hours like at a 15-degree decline there, then that was the perfect tool for the job.
Yep. I tend to not tell the clients before they come about the flight.
Yeah.
So Neil was like, I hate planes, and Neil said the flight is hell.
It really, but for me, honestly, if you have the ability to sleep for an 8-hour period of time on the plane, I don't think it's bad at all. I've never slept. So my previous life, all I did was fly.
Oh.
I would fly more than 100,000 miles a year on Delta every year for flying around fixing, shit. And I had never slept like that, like I did then in my whole life.
But also, did you have enough fucking drugs on board to
It's
kill a horse?
funny too, because back then I never took drugs at all. I don't know why I didn't, but man, I don't know where they've been all my life. But
The funniest part, when we got to Atlanta and we got on a plane, then we got here. Jake was like kind of like Frankenstein. He was just walking.
Oh, yeah.
He was kind of dead.
that's that fucking patch behind the ear. It does it to you too.
Dude, when I came out, we went fishing and I took that patch for the first time, deep sea fishing. I could not see. Like everything was fucking in a haze. And they were laughing at me because they were talking to me and I just had like a death stare. I couldn't even focus on anything but just looking at the fucking wall. It was the craziest thing.
The guardrail is shortly in the front of the boat, so next time when you can't see, walk to the front, you'll be able to see over the guardrail.
There's no problem with the guardrail. The problem is the puking rail.
Oh.
Yeah.
And apparently there was a bathroom situation in the boat as well.
Well, basically, I ended up having it was a half a day trip, right? Eventually, I knew I was going to have to go pee. And when I got down in there, man, and like the whole boat and you're slamming into walls, well, that kind of got me pretty good there. Even though I had all the drugs in me, by the time I come back up, I was sweating my ass off, just beat white, ready to throw up kind of thing. But I had never been deep sea fishing in my life before then. And, to be honest with you, the flight wasn't bad. I would say this. I would recommend, we heard plenty of stories about guys that wanted to take like 4 different legs to get there. And that's when you have the opportunity for your rifle to get lost or whatnot. We went straight from Spokane to Atlanta to Joburg, and that probably was the most ideal. So if you could just do it in 2 jumps, that's probably the most ideal situation.
Enhance your shooting experience with STOCKY'S stocks. Are you tired of struggling with mediocre rifle stocks that hinder your performance? Imagine having a high-quality rifle stock that not only enhances your accuracy, but also provides superior strength and a lightweight build. STOCKY'S Stocks offers a wide range of premium rifle stocks manufactured with hand-lay-up carbon fiber construction, a patented carbon fiber AccuBlock, and multiple finish options. Whether you're a long-range shooter or a hunting enthusiast, our stocks are perfect for you. Experience unmatched precision and durability with STOCKY'S stocks. We provide stock installation instructions, technical support, and guidance to help you choose the right stock for your rifle. Upgrade your shooting game today with STOCKY'S stocks.
Yep. The less people that handle your stuff, the better.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we get here, and Neil and his whole team is waiting for us at the airport and walked us right through, I guess it's Mr. X that's kind of running the show here for Neil. But
I wanted to know why Neil wasn't right at the gate like the other people. When
All the other people with the little tags that were.
Yeah, right at the gate, Neil. What's up with that?
Yeah.
he was right in the right spot.
No, I mean, they were right when we walked off the plane. They had their signs.
Uh-huh.
Why weren't you there?
That's like, yeah. Did you have a wheelchair?
No, those weren't wheelchair people.
So you can't get past a certain point.
Yes.
Like I saw there was one, like he was as far as you could go without a plane ticket.
Exactly.
Did you saw those guys, Blaine?
Oh, I did.
So there was people with signs. Neil's like dropped the ball there.
Yeah. So the signs is if you request a wheelchair to go from one plane to the other, like that's the people that was waiting. That's what I'm saying. He was at the furthest point that he could be. Like there was a grandma that was meeting a mom with a little kid there, so you can get like a little excuse pass to be able to go through if something's going down, or if you're taking the kid from the mom and the mom is going back or whatever. Well, yeah, he was as far as he could go.
We've done this before, right?
He's probably done it once or
Those
twice.
black dudes were not waiting for any person in a wheelchair. They were there as like VIP people. They're the same black dudes that were at.
Well,
Neil.
you're only Tay when we're in our podcast room.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying.
Not here in South
Neil
Africa.
needs a special permit. I'm sure he could talk to X and get back in there.
Yeah.
I thought you did a fine job, Neil.
Thanks. Yeah.
And I would say that the Mr. X thing, if you have, I don't know what type of safari you're trying to go with, but he's got a dude that basically pays everybody off and knows everybody like they're brothers. And runs the fucking show in there. And the guy come up, he's like, flip open your case. He just said, what caliber is it? And he closed the case and it was over. That was it. Didn't check shit.
It was so much smoother than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Well, everything is legal, disclaimer. So he just makes sure that all the paperwork's done before you leave. So that's the biggest difference why it's so smooth. Generally, it's done in the airport. They have to you have to fill in that form that we sent you beforehand, and then only they put it into the system. So basically, all he does is he makes sure it's in the system before you arrive.
Yep.
So it's actually not really shady at all. He just makes sure everything is done before you before you get there.
I didn't realize the cop police station was actually in the airport.
Yes.
I thought we had to leave and go somewhere else.
No, it's in there.
One of the big surprising things to me was I walk in and the 4 guys sitting in front of me are going on a safari. The guy I'm sitting next to is going on a safari. They must have brought off 30 rifle cases off the plane.
There was a
safari.
serious amount of rifles.
Yeah.
And I did notice the bows, though. You didn't have to check a bow in or anything like that. They just went and picked them right up and were ready to go.
Yep, the bows just go through his luggage.
Yeah.
They're not very deadly.
Yeah. Now, you did get, I think we got 2 free check bags with the seats that we were in. That was plenty. But one of the things Niel kept repeating on our many conversations before coming out here, which was awesome, is don't bring too much shit. And definitely that was a good piece of advice. We tried my wife tried her best to not bring, too much stuff. The laundry service here is badass. Basically, anything you put in the laundry, before you go hunting in the morning, you arrive in the evening and it's all washed and on your bed and all that. So you really don't need a lot of clothes to bring.
No, and it's not near as far from the airport that I thought it would be to get here. It's just like an hour and 40 minutes.
Yep.
And the whole time, you don't. I talked to John Pinch. I talked to people who've been here before, but I was joking with my wife. Well, if we're going to be skin suits, we're going to find out pretty soon when we pulled into the gates here. They locked the gates behind us and locked in the car. We know we're in trouble.
Yeah.
But
The airport wasn't bad at all. There weren't dead bodies.
We pulled in here.
Yeah.
But the facility here is fantastic.
We heard some various stories about like dead bodies out in front of the airport and people carrying AKs and ARs or whatever around and that kind of thing. And it really we didn't spend much time there, but it didn't feel like that. I was pretty drugged up though.
No, you'd think like, we hear stereotypical stuff from Africa. And you're like, oh, you're going to see fucking the airport's going to be in ramshackled. It's going to look like shit. You're going to look like an outhouse and there's no, actually running water and shitters. And basically, it looked just like America to me when I got off.
Just a normal airport.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, we do, from a company standpoint, we do a no deposit type of deal. So you only send your plane ticket to us, and then we book your safari, because that creates a lot of peace of mind that you don't have to pay. You feel easier not getting scammed when you don't pay a deposit. And then a guy I had earlier in the year is like, when I got here, I was very glad to see it wasn't a scam. I was like, don't you think I would have asked for a deposit?
Yeah.
If I wanted to scam you? It was like, yeah, I never thought of that.
Yes. And like, speaking of that, like there was a question on the threads about, do most have like half down deposits? When do you pay for like the taxidermy? Do they have to bring all their people say, I don't want to bring all that cash. Can you pay with PayPal or Venmo, or how does it outside of here? Do you know how most people work? And then say how you tell us how you work.
Yeah, well, I can't speak for everyone. Most people, obviously we have bank accounts where you can do wire transfers into the bank account. Most people do a deposit. We have a lot of stuff we have to buy beforehand, all the food, all the drinks. We have to buy beforehand, but with a little bit of cash flow, you can get away with a minimal deposit. People do cancel on last minute, so it's maybe running a bit of a risk. We have a PayPal account, company PayPal. A lot of people still do cash. US dollars works everywhere in the world, and credit card payments.
If you have the choice between receiving cash on the spot or a wire or a PayPal or whatever, I would assume you prefer not to take a bunch of cash.
Yes, it's still a third world country. Well, you don't want to drive around with a lot of cash in the States.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't bring too much cash. Maybe tip money here and there if you want to buy something. But most people just do electronic wire transfers, or they pay into the company PayPal account. So that's easiest. We don't have to handle cash as well, because now I've got a lot of cash that I have to take to the bank. And apparently somebody wanted to pay with a check. I don't even know who the fuck does checks anymore. Is that a thing? Like a check?
We still write a lot of checks.
So from a business perspective, when you do a credit card, like if you had a credit card slider and I pay you a credit card, you're paying something like 3% fees.
Oh yeah.
Whereas if you have a bill, for Bat Machine for Actions and it's a $50,000 bill, they don't want to pay that with credit card. You give them a check because they're saving 3% off of it. And it's similar to PayPal. So PayPal's going to charge theirs unless you do a friends and family transfer.
Yes.
So a check doesn't do that.
Yeah. But wire transfers also. There's only like a changeover from the US dollars to the South African rand.
Yeah.
We pay like a fee, but that's the best. Like it's not a percentage fee.
Yeah, I think they get their money for a wire transfer. I think they get their money on the person transferring the money. That's something like $30 or $40 to initiate a wire transfer, and then and then you get yours after the conversion rate.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
So then we showed up here about 9:30, was it?
Yeah.
And Gene made some awesome chicken strips.
Uh-huh.
The food here has been amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Food is important.
Food's damn important to me.
Yeah.
Look at this physique.
I just learned how important peanut butter is.
Yeah.
Peanut butter is one of the most important fucking ingredients in the world.
Never knew it.
We didn't know.
Didn't know. Basically, Ryan is a peanut butter addict, but not just regular peanut butter. It must have honey in it. Has to be a certain brand.
Mhm.
Yep. And apparently it's Tanya's job to keep that stocked up at the house.
I don't actually know what the brand is, but Tanya does.
Teddy handles it. If he gets below 4 jars in the cabinet, shit start getting real. Everybody gets nervous.
Yes. And then she makes me double check because it is a little obsessive. And then we couldn't find it for a while, but she found it at fucking Target of all places.
So another thing to getting over here, there was a little bit of paperwork to be done, but it wasn't overbearing at all once you understand. So first, we were lucky, Ryan and I, because Blaine took the initiative to do everything beforehand and write us out an instruction booklet, which was fantastic.
He was the test dummy.
He was. So he goes through. So basically, we had to go to Customs and Border Patrol. You bring your rifles in there, and they stamp this paper for you with the serial numbers, and that paper is really to get your rifles back into the States.
Yeah.
And you can put other valuable items on there if you wanted to, but for me, it was just the rifles. And then there's about a 10-page paperwork for SARS. Mm-hmm. And the instruction is very easy on where to fill out what information, but basically how much ammo you're bringing, what's the caliber, what is the serial number of the rifle, passport numbers, various information, how long do you plan to stay. And that's the paperwork they took when they gave us the rifle license. On this side.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty much it. There was a letter from you or something else we had to print out.
Yes.
And sign that was basically you saying that we're coming here to hunt.
Sometimes they need that, and I've had other times that they don't require it. Yeah.
A lot of guys have been asking about the ammunition bullet head stamp matching the rifle that you're bringing. And I know ahead of time, I'll just say I brought a 6.5 7 PRC improved, but I left it as 7 PRC on the barrel because my brass is 7 PRC. They did not even look at the ammo.
No.
And I don't know if you've ever experienced that before where it didn't match and there was an issue.
No, they very seldomly look at your ammo.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can really want to get technical, they might see that as a gray area. But it's still, I think, it's more caliber based, like caliber diameter based, than it is cartridge based. So if the barrel says any 6.5 variant, I think you'll be fine with any 6.5 variant ammunition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But don't take my word for it.
No.
I just feel a lot safer the way you did it.
And then you can bring up to 2 rifles.
Correct.
And you can bring up to 500 rounds per rifle.
Yes.
But you do not want both rifles to be the same bullet caliber. Not cartridge, but caliber.
Yeah.
So you don't want a 6.5 Creed and a 6.5 PRC.
Nope.
You want 2 different bullet diameters.
Correct.
Yep. Yep.
I did also think it was interesting coming through your customs with the passports. We will get hassled far more when we go back in the United States than we were hassled with your customs.
Yeah.
Oh, it was right through.
Yeah, right through.
And the line went really quick, too. It wasn't,
Yeah. I love lines, and we went right through that one.
Yeah. I love lines.
I love lines.
All right.
Love waiting.
Love waiting.
I saw yesterday with the warthog hunt that you just love to wait.
I am actually patient for hunting, but everything else. Anywhere else we go, Tanya gets the brunt of it because I'm always bitching about the lines.
Well, I heard beforehand that Ryan told me that he doesn't get up early. But for hunting, I get up early.
Yeah.
I had to wake him up every session up until today.
That's
so
right. He's looking at you like you're crazy. He's finally rested now.
I have yet to see this early Ryan that everybody's been talking about.
I've never heard about early Ryan.
Wait a minute. Nobody has waited on us.
No, not waited. I wake you up early enough so I don't have to wait.
There you
I
go.
only saw you this morning.
Yes, this morning you were awake.
Neville came over, we were already awake. I was ready to go.
Uh-huh.
It was giraffe day.
It is giraffe. Well,
yeah.
We're not there yet.
No, we're not
there
yet.
We're working through the days. I can't really think of anything else that was related to the travel part of the trip that would be difficult, or other than having to deal with my my wife's planning of the airplane snacks and the seat positions. We've been watching seats and planning what snacks were coming for at least the last 6 fucking months. There were different trays we had to look at on how much of each little individual compartment. There was like fucking charcuterie boards. She had a 50-pound bag of snacks.
I did when we got onto the plane.
Food is important.
Joburg, I looked back and he had fucking pepperoni.
Oh, dude, I was eating it. I'm not complaining about the eating part. Yeah. It was the planning part.
Well, Tanya always has a big ass bag of snacks, and I always like, I don't need that shit, and I'll be like, hey, what did you bring?
That's right.
Well, Blaine, you haven't thrown your 10 cent on the flight. How'd you like it?
Well, I watched 3 movies and read a little bit and slept a little bit and ached a lot. So I'm glad we upgraded to Select Comfort on the international legs, because those are those little recliners and a little more space in them. And that's a step above the Comfort Plus. Mm-hmm. And so if you watch the ticket prices, they drop. I mean, they fluctuate up and down. If you watch it, you can snag a ticket at a pretty good price for that upgrade. And so that's what I did. I kept watching them, just check in every now and then, and found a good time, and then snag the upgraded tickets. I started out, I just booked the whole thing Comfort Plus. I couldn't imagine going economy. And I'm not a big guy, but that's just so tight in there.
Yeah, if you watch them, Tanya snagged back like $1,200, $600 a ticket that she got back on credit, and then we kind of updated to I think it's the premium, isn't it? We're in the
I think they call it for premium select or select premium on Delta.
I had never heard of that shit in my life either. I've flown a lot in the years, and I guess so. It's probably your base ticket price, not like upgrade shit. Your base ticket price, if you find it goes lower.
Is that what it was, Tanya? Base ticket price?
Yeah.
That's incredible. I didn't know you could do that either.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, the base ticket price for the trip, from Spokane to Atlanta to Jayburg was $2,000 on economy, and then it was 3 with Comfort Select, and then 3 with Comfort. No, 3 with Comfort Plus, the little bit bigger seats. Comfort Select added about another $1,000 to the international legs, but boy, it's worth it. That's a big long flight, and to be able to stretch and twist around a little bit, I think it was well worth it.
All right, so we're here.
Yep,
we're here.
First morning.
Dark. We wake up late, which I appreciate.
It was nice. He was like, you guys are gonna be a little fucked up tonight. We'll just call it a little bit of a late morning for you.
Did I use those words?
You said fuck. It's not fuck. It's
fucked up.
Yeah, that's the only word I get when they start speaking Afrikaans.
And the word no. How do you say no?
Nia.
I was like, I knew that had to be a no. Yep, we woke up and we had to go sight in the rifles.
Yeah.
That went well because we shoot good equipment. I should, Neil, let you speak. How does it usually go, and how was ours?
Yeah, pretty decent. Everybody seemed like to know how to handle a rifle. We got everybody just quickly a 0, just double check 0. I mean, it is a bumpy. There's people handling your rifles in the plane, throwing them out onto everything, and then all the rifles seem to be dead on 0, and we've got steel out to wherever you want to shoot, but we just shot steel to 300, and everybody hit steel at 300, so that's, for our areas, that's more than enough.
Yep.
We very seldomly shoot in that 500-600 yard shots.
Yeah. Further shot, 150 yards, I think, for 3 of the different shots so far, but nothing further than 150.
Yeah, that's very, it's just the way our terrain works out. You get more like lane shots, little pokes here and there, but very seldomly you get to set up on something, overlooking a hill, shooting ways out.
Yep. And Neil he claims he's not a marketer, but he's very smart on this next process. He takes you to the taxidermist.
Yes.
And you can see all the species you can go after, and kind of hypes you up a little bit.
It does.
It does, yeah. Well, it's not your average backyard double garage taxidermist as well.
No,
I took some good video. We put them on the stories and said this is a serious operation.
Yeah,
like it was a fucking manufacturing facility.
He had to have probably 400 or 500 heads. In
there.
Easy.
Yeah. And you got to see every possible animal and every different size. It was nice because you could say, oh, that's average, that's a trophy, and then that's a $50,000 freaking bull over there, and you get a good idea of what to expect.
Yep.
And we saw some stuff in person there that we probably watched videos on beforehand that didn't maybe didn't look like what you wanted, but once you see them in person, you're like, dang, that's pretty badass.
It really locked Tanya, and she wants to come back and shoot a crocodile.
Oh, yeah.
They had a tank of a crocodile in there.
Yeah.
15, 16 feet long.
It was big.
Yeah.
You got some pictures with her head in the...
Girthy, and that thing was girthy.
Yes, I like that. Yeah, girthy.
Girthy.
Yeah, huh?
I also I haven't seen I never even heard of a lot of these species, but a bushbuck. Bushbuck, sorry. And they're cool.
Yeah.
They're very cool.
Yeah.
So selling it out, showing you all the options, it's kind of like going shopping.
It is.
Yeah.
It might create a little bit of a bad perception because it's still not shopping. But
dude, people say these canned hunts. Well, I've probably walked more in the last 2 days than I've walked since last hunting season. So there's nothing canned about it.
Yeah.
But he was very good about telling us, but make sure you bring some good fucking walking shoes.
Yeah, make sure.
And I think we walked more than I expected to walk too. I pictured more of a drive around, almost shooting shit from the truck kind of situation, like jump out, shoot it, that kind of thing. But I like that all the PHs they make, you can drive by an animal a half mile and you're going to put a stock on it. Mm-hmm. You're going to come in from behind, make sure the wind is good, and actually real hunt.
Yes.
Versus just popping shit from the truck.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't like to shoot stuff from the truck. The moment you start shooting from the trucks, the animals really notice it quickly. So when they hear that engine going, they are gone.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot. It creates this perception sometimes that because they're used to the trucks being like a farming community, that we have a lot of trucks coming and going, cattle trucks and putting feed out. But the moment you put your boots on the ground, it seems to be a different story.
Yeah. And a lot of it is, it's called red sand safaris, of course, and a lot of it is very loose. It's basically like walking on the beach.
Yep. Yeah.
So you can work your calves pretty good.
Red quicksand safari.
Red quicksand safaris. Not bad in any way.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's a lot of going through brush and stuff like that. So you got to have some durable pants. There is some of those spiky bushes where the spike actually, if the tip touches you, it snags you kind of, and it leaves the tip of the spike on your skin right there.
Mm-hmm.
Those are pretty intense. But yeah, there's some dangerous bushes out there.
Like being from like southern Texas, I see why those animals over there thrive, because this is very similar to southern Texas.
Very similar.
And they got all those damn thorns wait a minute or whatever.
Wait
you
a
guys
minute
call
bush.
them.
Yeah. It's actually called the buffalo thorn tree. But the Afrikaans derivative is wait a minute bush. So because it hooks you, tells you to wait a minute. So yeah, and the more you pull on it, the more that thing hooks you.
Yeah. You know it got you too. I got on my arm a couple times. I think you got it too, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You look down, your arm is bloody. You can feel it.
Get you wide open.
Yeah.
It'll fuck some clothes up.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't really been carrying backpacks or nothing big like that. Pretty much a rifle on a sling over your back, your Beano pack on, and yeah, I
carried one backpack the first afternoon, which we're going to talk about, and that was it. I was like, Tanya, this is dumb. We shouldn't carry backpacks.
Yeah, we stay close enough to the truck. Then if you can hold your breath a bit for water, you'll be back in an hour or two. So
yeah,
easy enough.
Oh yeah. So what with the hunting afternoon?
Well, we went with Peter and didn't see shit, and he just walked a lot. He didn't say much.
Peter does walk a lot.
Yeah.
Peter's the fast hunter.
Yeah. We got to talk about different guides too when we get into this.
Yes.
Because I've been with all three of them now, and they're vaguely different. They're very different.
Yes.
All right. So how many guides are you?
How many what?
How many guides?
3.
Okay. Name them.
Peter, Neville, and Niel.
Yes. All right. So
nice.
Explain them.
Yeah.
Okay, to me, this is my opinion. And this is no reflection. They're all great guides. Don't get me wrong. But in my opinion, the 3 that I went with Peter the first day. He doesn't say much. We walk a lot. And that's about it. Which was fine. Neville, I really appreciate Neville because, am I saying that right? Neville?
Yes, Neville.
Neville. Because, me and Tanya talked about this. He explains everything you're going to do. And while you're doing it, explains what we're doing.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate, so we're just not walking around blindly.
Yep.
And then I think Niel's a good mixture of both. Niel's a little more fucking manding. You know, he's like, get over here, do this. God damn it. But they're both all great, all nice. They're 3 distinctly different personalities.
Yep. All right.
I haven't got to hunt with Niel yet.
Oh, okay.
Right, but I say I've been with Neville and Peter. I liked them both. We shot big shit with both of them.
Absolutely.
I kind of believe so. I know Ryan pretty well now after a few years, and Ryan, as far as hunting is concerned, is he's the alpha in his world. In other words, he can go solo hunt for 3 weeks with nobody around. And he don't give a shit. He's that kind of hunter, right? So he always has his plan in his mind. So I think it's probably a lot different situation for him to kind of be, let's call it behind the scenes or second in command. Whereas myself, I'm not a very,
hard for you too.
Yeah, so I'm not a very experienced hunter, right? Yeah. So my wife and I, we liked both.
Yep.
Neville did explain a lot more, and he's a very slow-paced kind of stalker.
Yes.
Yep. He likes to snoop and poop, I call it.
Yeah, but I shot a giant fucking water buck because of him.
Yep.
Never planned to shoot one before we got here, and that was an excellent time. And then my wife, and then I shot the next day a nyala, big ass nyala. We just happened to. So that goes back to, having like this menu of things you hope to shoot. I would say be very open-minded because you're going to see something that's a fucking monster that maybe wasn't what you planned to, but you have to be a little flexible on the situation as it presents itself, I think.
Yep.
And then, so then going out with Peter the next day, the goal, since I shot before, the goal was to get Jessica on a kudu. And we happened to be going around, and this giant fucking nyala was standing there. So I shot the nyala, and then we loaded him up in the truck and immediately went on to the kudu, and Jessica got a monster kudu. Mm-hmm. Shortly after this, it's already been an amazing. Am I going too far now?
No, but I want to.
Okay.
I want to add into that when we get to it about keeping an open mind, because what I ended up shooting yesterday wasn't into my top 20.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the different guiding styles. I mean, it'd probably be open to that too, because I'm sure every outfitter has different type of styles. But I'll tell you that. So both the animals that I shot went about 100 yards, and it's thick shit. And they were both, again, two different guides, but they both were badass trackers.
Yeah.
So Neville was like, he was literally watching the hoof prints. I'm looking for blood or this and that, and he's following each hoof print and took us 100 yards on a zigzag straight to the animal. And that's the worst part for me hunting, is when they don't just drop dead and you have that kind of stalk, that you got to go look for the animal. It's
nerve-wracking.
It's up and down, up and down, up and down, right? So he goes straight to it, and of course everybody's happy then. Same thing happened with Jess and her kudu. There were 4 kudu that were real close to each other, and as soon as a shot happened, what's nice about the suppressors, you hear the thwack. So you know it was a good hit, but they all scattered different directions. And I didn't have the shot happen quicker than I thought it would, so I didn't even see it happen. But he did, and Peter. And again, he's following along, and he says, I know he jumped that. It's right where he said he jumped the fence. He's on the other side dead. So, I mean, just that part being, those guys are so fucking good at what they do. It gives you,
It is, and I think they're, like, good in both ways. Like, Neville was we're going to sneak into him and surprise him. And I think Peter's going to be fast enough, we're going to surprise him.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Peter's definitely the guy. Like, if you still need something bottom of the 9th, then
you're going to make it happen.
Yeah, you throw him the ball.
All of you guys see these fucking animals through the bush and the thorns. There will be 17 layers of trees and bushes, and the old white speck is somewhere in there. You're like, oh, right there, there's a nyala right there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what the how the fuck did you see that?
You're looking through this big sea of yellow. Do you see that nut sack? Like, no, I don't see the nut sack. And then I'll move. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
But, okay, we're going ahead. Your first afternoon.
Okay, so the first afternoon, so again, we were with...
What's that? Oh, Blaine, you explain your guides. Yeah, we're kind of jumping around.
Well, we'll get to Blaine.
Yeah, he has a special story.
I have quite a story to tell.
Yeah. So Neville guiding was, again, slow, methodical, a lot of talking us through things, and I know that Jessica appreciated that. He was able, I think we had several, we were trying to get Jessica on a Impala. That's what she liked up on the wall, and she liked the colors when we were at the taxidermist, so she had several opportunities to shoot an Impala, but she was about 6 inches too short to see up over the grass. So it was always you would see just the head. She didn't know where to shoot on the body and things like that, but had lots of opportunities to get it done. And then finally, the second day, she sealed the deal with a really nice Impala. But yeah, so anyways, Neville's, guiding process versus Peter the next day. Very different, but both resulted in what we wanted.
Neville's a great guide. I can't hunt with him at all. I'm like, that guy bores me. I was like, let's fucking go. Like, I need to go somewhere. Like, Neville's like, walk 10 steps, stops, and then listens and looks, and then walk 20 steps, stops. Like, that shit will drive me nuts. So he's very good at what he does and the way he does it. Because Neville's He's a fisherman. He's won 2 world championships in fishing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, feeder fishing.
Okay.
He won one in South Africa and one in, I think, Serbia, someplace like that.
Did he bow hunt ever? Because he seems like
Yes,
a bow hunter.
bow hunter, fishing. So when you see him with that, the whole fishing deal, then you understand exactly why he does it.
Yeah.
He's just this very calm, very patient guy. Like, I just need to, let's go, dude. We got to go shoot stuff. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then like with the water buck, he looked at the water buck and I looked at it and we had seen some stuff beforehand and he's like, that's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
Then you kind of, well, do I shoot that? Do I pass that up? You never know what you're going to see, but it was a beautiful animal.
Yeah, bird in hand.
Yes.
Better than 2 in the bush.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, well, Blaine, your first afternoon or our first
Our first afternoon was interesting. And I started this process a long time ago, getting my 416. It's a Winchester Model 70, 416 Remington, getting it reliable and finding a load for it and shooting it a lot. I think, I started working on the gun. I bedded the stock and then I had it Cerakoted and just kept going. Load development was probably 175 rounds off the bench with it, and then probably another 100 rounds, or 75 rounds offhand and off sticks to make sure that I was not going to be the weak link in this, because hunting buffalo is not a place to be a weak link when you shoot.
And we had to hear about this almost on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah.
I know more about Cape Buffalo than I ever thought I would.
It's been a 30-year bucket list item for me. And so anyway, I get all that prepared, and even when we go out to the range to shoot, I'm a little concerned right here. This is my final exam, and yeah, both my shots off the sticks are about an inch apart. I go, okay, then everything's working fine. We go out, and Niel said, all right, what I want to do is I'm going to take you into my herd. So Niel has a herd of buffalo that he's building up, I guess is breeding right now.
Yes.
And just need to see how they act and everything. And it was the coolest thing. And while we were doing that, we looked for an impala. The idea was shoot an impala first to get used to shooting off the sticks and all that stuff, and then shoot the buffalo. Well, the impala were super, super cagey. We couldn't get close. We finally got to the buffalo, and I saw 3 distinct behaviors that afternoon. The first one was we got about 100 yards away, and the wind shifted, and boom, they were gone, just like a herd of elk. I mean, animals that kill people, just gone. The next time, it was more of probably a more normal hunting situation. We were face-to-face with them, got close enough, and he had me set up the sticks and, see where to aim on them and this and that. And they have this deadpan look on their face. Robert Ruark said it looks like you owe them money. That's how they look at you. And so you can't read them. And anyway, this one cow did not like us being there, and she kept getting more and more aggressive, kept coming at us, not backing down.
Yeah.
And Niel finally said, we need to get out of here. This is not good.
We get backing up a little bit to just observe them, and as we back up 30 yards, she just comes 30 yards. And then we'd back up 30 yards, and she just comes 30 yards. And I was like, all right.
Like a pissed off wife, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I guess they were young calves, you said.
Yes,
and
they were a few 6-month-old calves within the herd. And she wasn't on like any signs of charging, wasn't to that extent, but it was definitely like we started to feel uncomfortable with the whole situation. So.
How close were you?
Oh, probably got to 50 yards.
Yeah, about 50 yards.
But there was a third encounter with them. We were at the watering hole, sitting down, and then hear noises, and Niel says, Blaine, over your shoulder, the buffalo are coming. And I turned around and looked, and then just stayed looking over my shoulder. They didn't smell us or see us. They came up. One of the cows at about 20 yards saw me, and her eyes were bright open, and she was afraid. And then after a few seconds, that Niel says, yeah, this is too close. And he stands up, and they all just bolted and ran off. So 3 different behaviors depending on the circumstances, and I guess that's what makes them dangerous, is you're not quite sure what they're going to do. And it's funny, the whole time when there's buffalo in the area, you're carrying around a cartridge in the chamber with the safety on, just in case someone goes sideways. You just got to be prepared. Well, the next morning we went after buffalo for real. And I was telling, Niel was describing this stuff. Yeah, this could take a week or whatever and this and that. And I said, I've had such bad luck hunting over the last few years. I'm due for good luck. And I specifically remember saying that. So we went out to this other concession, went up on a little bluff to overlook the plains area down there, and just right away spotted a herd of buffalo. And so, I don't know, about a mile away, probably. Yep. Then we decided we're going to go down and go after them. And we got into them fairly quickly.
Wait a minute. How did you know that they were males?
I looked down there. I just see all these horns and all this kind of stuff, and I'm not sure. And he kept saying, okay, there's a bull. There's what. I said, how can you tell it's a bull? And he said, well, I look at their dick.
Well, he's maybe not telling the story right. Okay, so we had a plan. Apparently, these buffalo in this concession, half the property is like these ravines and little mountains and all these valleys and drops. So apparently at night they feed in the flats, and then early mornings they head up into the mountains. So we had a plan. Get up early, luckily not hunting with Ryan. Get up super early, pack everything in the truck, be there as the sun comes up. All right. As we get into the concession, the sun is not up, but it's getting light. We get up to this little lookout, and it's cold. We jump out and we start glassing. We had the spotter with Luke, and we found buffalo and we put up the spotting scope on the phone, on the Olin. And that's when they were coming into the screen of the phone. And then I was like, cow, bull. Oh, there's a bull. And it's like, how do you know there's a bull? I was like, well, I can see his dick.
It was a good spotting scope.
It's a good spotting scope.
Yeah, anyway, so we decided to go down after him, and it didn't take us long to get into him. And this is very intense hunting, which is the whole point of dangerous game hunting. You're a little nervous. And, of course, there's more pressure on it. You know, it's like, I don't want to mess this up. Partly for embarrassment, but also if I screw this up, there can be serious consequences to have to go chase one of these things down that are wounded. And also, again, you know, I envisioned hunting these animals out in the open, clear shots. No, they're behind this thick stuff. And now buffalo are easier to see because of these big black shapes. But still, you got to get a clear shot. And you always look like you're shooting through brush and stuff. And we kept moving up on them. And he asked me, Blaine, do you have a shot? And I go, no. And we finally got to a place. We were probably within about 80 yards, and we were busted. They knew we were there. And most of the herd turned left, but one, finally, a mature bull, stopped and stood his ground. And that's the one we decided to shoot. And I was kind of expecting a frontal shot because that seems to be pretty common, but he turned broadside. Anyway, so we got everything set up, and, you know, the sticks are wiggly. And you just got to live with that, and you center the wiggle where you want to go and slowly squeeze the trigger. And then boom. And it was funny. I'd forgotten. I was looking into the sun, so it was hard to see. So I had to have the hat brimmed down to be shaded to see clearly. Of course, when I shoot, you know, there's no brake on this gun. It's 55 foot-pounds of recoil. It knocks my hat off, and the sun's in my face. I did see, though, at the shot, the buffalo hunched up hard and jumped, and I knew it was a good hit at that point. I relaxed a little bit. Anyway, so the first round was a soft point, a 400-grain Swift A-frame. Next up was a solid. I chambered that and shot, and initially, you know, he's moving and thrashing at this point. I shot, and we thought we had missed, and later on we found out I hit him in the tail. The next shot with a solid was actually a decent shot. I don't know if it did any damage. I don't know if it made it through the stomach, but it was a raking shot. Then finally, and he's slowing down the whole time. The first shot actually killed him. And we get close, and one final shot offhand, 50 yards, I think, maybe.
Yep.
And right at the neck-shoulder junction, and shot that one. And that went pretty much through the same area that the first one did. And then he gave up the ghost at that point and gave us... Death bellow was longer than I thought. Mm-hmm. It was a couple of minutes of the death bellow, which they describe as the most joyful, sorrowful sound you'll ever hear. I mean, it sounds... sorrowful that he's dying like that, but you're going, wow, I made a good shot on one of the most dangerous game animals that there is. I have truly lived now. And
I'm a man.
Yeah, and then it was just a matter of all the hero shots and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how I saw the buffalo hunt. Like I said, I wanted to do it for 30 years, and it just shooting the dangerous game. We recovered 2 of the Swift A-frames, perfect mushrooms on them. I don't know how we didn't do an autopsy and how much damage on the inside, but we knew it was a lot because it just when an animal hunches up like that.
No, he took it all of it. That
it was
really took everything out of it. Yeah, it's not always that the plan. You know, the best laid plan is always the one that doesn't work. So for once, the plan worked. So It was very nice just getting that, not just ticking the box, but doing everything on video, getting the impact shot on a buffalo on video, just made everything. I mean, it's made the morning for me. I know the morning didn't stop there for most people, but it made the morning for me.
It made my whole trip. I've been a different person since then. I've been, whatever, man.
A little more relaxed.
relaxed.
And ready to kill. That's good for business, too, because then he's ready to kill more stuff because we got, 4 more days of hunting, right?
Yeah.
The new Blaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I highly recommend it. And if you read stories about buffalo hunting and everything, it just, a lot of what they say is really how it is. Some of it's not quite the same, but you just get motivated, and it's just a neat thing to have done.
Yep.
So thank you for that. Of course, that's not the only one. I'll be back for more.
Yep, we'll be
I'll
back,
for more.
I think all of us are hooked now, just like they say.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Brent Jarbo, CEO of ADG. For the past decade, we've been dedicated to crafting the highest quality, 100% American-made rifle brass to meet all your hunting and long-range shooting needs. This year, we're excited to introduce our new 6.8 Western and 270 WSM cases. With over 250 years of combined industry experience, we're committed to excellence. Look for our distinct orange boxes wherever you buy your reloading supplies. Whenever you need quality rifle cartridge cases, choose ADG Premium Rifle Brass, where precision meets performance.
It's funny when Neville said, I need to change the subject to something a little darker. And we're like, what? And he's like, yeah, he shot his buffalo.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah. He's like, I need to change it to something a little darker. Blaine shot his buffalo. I was like, oh, okay.
No, it was a good morning.
Yeah.
You guys had a good morning as well.
Oh, yeah.
With Neville your first morning.
Yes. It was,
you and Tanya.
I never thought, I always think of Africa as, deadpan flat. And I was talking to Edwin. He's like, we're going to go to a hill and we're going to glass like America, like how we hunt a lot in the West is we go to the highest point and look for game. I didn't think that was part of the plan. So I thought that was cool. And we started picking out animals, and we pretty much had a wide open palette of animals at that point. We saw some impala, and we drove a little closer. And Neville, like we said, he's very, very descriptive. He's like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to get there. And then this is what's going to happen. And we're like, yeah, whatever. And we did some snooping and pooping. We have Tanya's rifle, the 6UM. It's the hand of God. So she had to go first because hadn't shot anything. So
it hasn't shot anything?
No, the first thing we shot was Tanya's impala.
Okay.
So we sneaked very slowly because we had Neville.
Yep.
And I was going, come on.
Let's go.
And I do like I said, I like to appreciate the description of what we're going to do, how we're going to get there, and what we're going to accomplish. He goes through it all. But we snuck up this little hill, and there's some blessed buck in the way. And what I appreciate about guides in general, because I've been there, is he stood like a statue for at least, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, Tanya? He stood there watching the impalas clear out, the blessed bucks clear out in front of those impala. And you guys say that it's hard to see through the grass. And I've been hunting since I was 8, and I'm like, whatever. This fucking can't be that hard to see through the grass. Well, I'm sitting on the ground recording, and Tanya gets up, and they finally get it set up, and Tanya's looking, is it a buck impala? I don't know.
Ram.
A ram impala. And just taking her a second, and there's multiple animals moving around, and he's like, okay, it's right there, and its head's facing that way, and Tanya's like, I can't see this grass, and I'm thinking, God, come on, Tanya, shoot that thing, it's in the grass, you should be able to it's a fucking impala, it's red, shoot it. And she shoots it and makes a great shot and runs and dies. Edwin said he's watching from that perch above, and he's like, that's the first animal I've ever seen fall in the binoculars. Well, I'm sitting there videoing, and I think it occurs to Neville that we could probably shoot another one of these. Yeah. So he's like, do you want to shoot? I was like, oh, hell yeah, I want to shoot, and get up there. But the same thing, I get up there. He goes, it's right there, and I can see a bunch of impalas, but I don't see any with horns. He goes, it's right there in the grass. And I'm like, well, fuck, I can't see it. And I was like, so I get what Tanya was looking. I get what you guys talk about. Boom, I shot it. And the whole day before, they even gave me a little pamphlet. In America, we shoot in the crease.
Yep.
Well, here they want you to shoot straight up the leg, bottom third.
Mhm.
Well, of course, I went right to the fucking crease and popped pulled the trigger, and I, shooting with a can, you hear whack. And he's like, it's running and still running. And I'm trying to follow it, and all the gazelles get together. And I was like, is that it? Is that it? He's like, no. Sorry, gazelles. Sorry, impalas. I think gazelles of Africa. You guys don't have gazelles?
No.
So it's running with all the impalas. Boom, 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 boom. And he's like, okay, it stopped. It's right there in the grass at 140 yards. And I'm like, fuck, I can't see shit. And he's like, you don't see the horns? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I just see these little dark spots.
I think all three of you are the exact same height with the exact same issue.
Oh, I couldn't see it. I couldn't. And
because me and Neville could see everything.
We're all taller.
Yep.
And I was like, I can't see shit. He goes, you see the horns? And I'm looking over the top, and I can think when I see horns. I go, yep, I can see him. He goes, well, just like with the dagger, he goes, aim where you think the body is.
Yeah.
Boom, shwak.
Did you say there was a bunch of blesbuck in front of
Yeah, they had to wait
that
for
one?
Blessbuck to clear.
No, that's Gemsbuck.
Gemsbuck?
No, you have one in here, one of those?
Only a female there with one horn. Yes.
And,
There are so many species. It is a little. We're getting a little used to it now, but it's a lot to remember and keep track of what you're going for.
Yep, and Tanya's obviously died in sight, so we went and looked at hers, took the pictures, drug it over to the truck. We had to go look for mine, and it went about 20 yards after that second shot. The cool part is I didn't think about putting them together, and Edwin and Neville was like, we need to bring these two together and
That's
take
a
a picture.
good picture.
Yep,
great
Fuck,
picture.
It's an amazing picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was our morning. Did we see anything else? Or have a shot at anything else? I don't think so. Nope, that was our yesterday morning.
Our yesterday morning.
You already said your yesterday morning.
Oh, I want to say I can say it again.
Say it again.
Shot a big
We-
ass.
We were looking for kudu for Jess because I shot the day before.
Yeah.
We saw that big ass nyala, which was badass. Huh?
You started off looking for Impala.
Oh, well, the
Sure
whole time
wasn't
we've been looking for
Sure
impala.
wasn't a gazelle.
It's not a damn gazelle.
No, gazelles live in
Not
like
this fucking-
Tanzania. This is South
Anyways.
Africa, dude.
Shoot a big nyala. Now, this is still in the morning, and then we
Yes.
put the nyala in the truck, and then we were looking for the kudu when we saw the nyala. So then we go over there, and then we get Jess her kudu, and that was still the morning. So two fucking monsters just right there in the morning.
Yep.
And then the evening, she shot the impala.
Yeah.
So yesterday was fucking eventful.
Tops.
Yeah, but
I mean, between all of us.
you're not saying it right for the Impala. I mean, for the kudu.
Yeah.
When we drove up, because they said, "Hey, you want to go see our kudu?" Of course we do. She was standing there with an ear-to-ear grin, just
Oh yeah.
beaming.
Oh, I got all that
was
on video.
just- yeah.
That will be in the video. But and it was more because she thought that we might not find it, and that's
Yeah.
again that horrible feeling that you get. So as soon as Peter said it's right there, man, those two were hugging like shit. That was her husband.
Well, it was
Yeah, don't look at your wedding photos because that grin won't be the same. ever
Oh,
again.
exactly. But to see, we've been looking forward to this for a while, and it was kind of like you get a little more excited the closer it gets, and then when you're here, and then you see the animal in your scope, and then you see it when it's on the ground. It's another level of
Excitement.
excitement. Yes,
and that was a 51-inch kudu.
Yep.
it's a
Which
monster.
that's a good one.
That's
yeah.
a good one.
Yeah,
And then your water buck is going to be SCI. Right?
yeah. The water buck was
Yeah.
huge. In fact, the nyala was big too. They were all big.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I say don't be willing. If you come across something that's a monster, unless you already have a bunch of monsters, but
Yeah.
be willing to be a little flexible on your.
On
They're all beautiful. They
Yeah.
really are. Small to big.
small to big.
Yes.
You know a little bit something about small to big?
Yes.
There you go.
Well, we were walking yesterday afternoon, and I went with Niel, and we're talking about the 3 different kind of guides or PHs. Well, why do they call you PHs? Is that just a professional?
Well, the professional hunters course. So we do a very extensive, very long, gruesome 9-day course. So,
Lots of dropouts, lots of failures.
yeah. We do a full 9 days to become a professional hunter.
So I'm walking with Niel, and he's like 6'12", and you have to fucking shit and get because he takes long steps.
Mm-hmm.
And Tanya had the rifle, and we saw some impalas.
Yes.
We're trying to get Luke a shot, but Luke was fucking around with the spotter a little too long,
Uh-huh.
And they ran off.
and they ran.
Yeah. Well, he's the video guy. He wanted to get it on video.
He could have just told me run this. I would have ran up and tried to and got it
Yeah.
hooked up. And gave the rifle back to Tanny. We started walking, and I don't know if it was Luke or somebody had seen a diker a few minutes before
Yep.
that.
I saw a diker, and I asked Tanya that you want to shoot a diker. It's like a dog-sized animal because they're not very big. And she said, no, why would I want to shoot something like that? And then I saw that diker and I was saying, look at that, that's a big diker. And she says, how do I know? I said, you look at the horns. If the horns are the same level as their ears, you know it's a big diker. And then, I mean, Legolas came from behind and he's like, I'll shoot it.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to shoot the smallest thing they have here and the biggest.
Did he call you Legolas? From The Hobbit?
Like
Yeah,
Elvin.
he's like Black Friday Legolas. He's like,
Black Friday Legolas.
yeah.
I never really heard of that way.
It's like Legolas, but you get a bit off
Yeah,
on Black Friday.
a little bit off.
So that fucking nugget there was way taller than the ears though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ended up. Well, it charged us.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Came right at us.
came right at us. But I mean, because
Shot it out of freaking self-defense.
I was gonna say just like South Park, it's coming right for us.
It's coming right for us.
but it didn't know where we were
It didn't.
in its defense, and it was shot.
And I wouldn't have known. He kept saying, like, repeatedly, that is a really good diker. You know?
But it was.
And I didn't fucking know either way. He could still
Yeah.
be lying.
Yeah.
Actually, we looked it up online. He wasn't lying.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the biggest record. The diker is the biggest record out of all of them so far.
Yeah, out of all of the trophies, the 5-inch animal is the biggest.
Is the biggest in its
literally-
class.
It literally is, what, 40 pounds maybe? 50
Yeah,
pounds?
yeah. No, not even.
Yes. And it was like a 50-yard shot, and that 6UM about cut it in half.
I was gonna say you did put a basketball-sized hole in the side
Yeah,
of
it
it.
wasn't meant for that kind of
Yeah,
animal.
yeah.
And I still don't know if he's BSing us, but it is. It looks cool.
It
They
does.
have little devil horns coming out the top.
Oh,
of
it's
their head.
you gonna soft mount it?
Oh no, just hard, just standing.
Just standing there.
Yeah, looking at us.
So that was your small,
Very small.
and then you go to your.
And then we went to our large. But Tanya shot a warthog. Well, no, like hour after that,
Yep.
probably.
That was the plan. We had a plan going for warthogs, and the diker was kind of on our way to go look for warthogs in the irrigation fields.
Tanya put the smack down on one, heard it squeal. It did a spin, and it was dead.
Yep. And then she missed a couple,
Yep, they're very little targets, way out there, and off a tripod, they're even smaller.
and we had wind yesterday, a lot of it.
Yeah.
But we can't let it slide. You still missed. We love you, but you still missed.
It happens.
Like I tell her, I don't give a shit if you miss. Everybody misses.
Oh, yeah.
I just say rack the bolt. Oh, Tanya actually is a fantastic shot, and she practices a lot. But every fucking buddy misses.
Oh,
All
yeah.
I would yell at her for is racking the bolt. Get the next one in because you might need it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Surprised the shit out of her. She's like, okay.
I was having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That can, well, I guess, Blaine, what happened in your afternoon yesterday, day one?
Went out with Neville, and we were just casual, going to see what was out there. He thought we might get some Impala, and they were fairly skittish. We saw lots of different animals out there, which is kind of neat. But the thing that concerned me the most is we did a slow stalk, and we found there were some rams, and they were all in this heavy brush. So realize I'm shooting a 416 Remington. He's got me on my knees, leaned against a tree, hunched over into the gun. And I thought, this is really going to hurt when I pull the trigger. I don't know if I want to do this.
Not going to be a fun ride.
Not going to be fun, is it? It better be a really nice one. But the Impala are so skittish.
Mm-hmm.
They never would let us get close enough or whatever to make a shot. And of course, they're these tannish colored animals against tannish colored grass and all, and it's just hard to see.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I enjoyed hunting with Neville. It was kind of fun. And yeah, we didn't walk fast, but very slow and methodical. But that's kind of how I grew up hunting, was slow and methodical. And
That might be a good point,
stuff.
though. If somebody's coming out here to shoot a Cape Buffalo and something else, maybe you need two different rifles.
yeah, that would have been ideal because, yeah, just some of the positions.
Yeah.
The gun is capable. I'm probably good to 300 yards with it, but you got to be careful of some position because it'll whack you pretty hard if you don't do it right.
Knock that hat off.
Yeah, that was funny.
But
That was so funny to watch that in the video.
again, it's good to shoot plains game with your buffalo gun because it builds confidence in the gun. So confidence is probably the best thing you can take out there. So if you're going to if you can do one gun, do one gun. But if you want to do multiple, then it can also work.
Mm-hmm.
So day one, the first full day, we took 8 animals, and you say that's not
That was
normal.
epic.
No, that's not normal.
Epic. Well, the size of all of them too, right? Like nothing was really average.
Yeah. Well, everything was above average that we shot. Typically, 1 animal per hunter per day is a good day. So 3 to 4 would have been a very good day yesterday. Shooting 8 animals in one day is scary.
Skinners don't like it.
Oh no,
they were busy all the way into the night there.
They were like,
Yes.
yeah. They
And then
were
what?
very
Oh,
busy.
well, I guess we should wait to talk about what I didn't see what they were actually dropping off after today, but I guess we'll get to that.
Dropping off after.
Well, they were dropping some stuff off in the butcher area.
Oh,
I thought they were taking it all with them, but
Yes. And then today was a very exciting day for me and for Niel.
oh yeah,
We had a lot of discussions in our first podcast about the 6UM
that's all I've been fucking hearing about
And
is giraffe and 6UM.
and the giraffe.
Yeah.
So I thought it was very funny this morning when I came in here. Neil had a heart-to-heart with me.
Yeah.
yep. I had to.
Yeah.
Were you
I was
in
like,
here?
I wanted to know.
Oh, he talked to me individually too.
And I said, dude,
I'm not worried about it.
I wasn't worried about it. I know you've seen the worst and the best. So your job is to, check expectations.
Yes.
In my mind, I had zero doubt it was going to go down similar to the way. It is not the bullet. It's not the caliber size, the cartridge size. It's not. It's that bullet is special for what it does.
Mm.
For that case size, it outkicks its coverage. It just, the guy that invented the 115 DTAC, he said, the bigger the animal, the harder the bullet gets. And they found it by total mistake, shooting baboons. They did. They made that band to make the BC more consistent. And what they found out is it's also excellent at killing animals.
It's crazy. No, I was definitely surprised, to say the least. In all honesty, I had like a 50-50. It was a coin flip for me, so it was worth doing.
I thought it was going to get the job done. I just thought it was going to take multiple.
Yeah.
I thought he might have to put 3 to 5 into him in succession to make it happen, but that it was going to do something.
And to me, like yesterday, we drove right by him, and this morning it was a little more of a hunt for him.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, Neil, we had him right in our hands yesterday.
Could
We
have
could've
dropped
just-
him
we
yesterday.
could've shot him yesterday.
Yeah.
I think actually this morning Jess and I saw him the first in the other truck. We'd put a little stock on that big eland that Tanya and I are fighting over who gets, and anyway, so he beat us, went away, and then we're driving, and all of a sudden both Jess and I we see giraffe, and called it out. And then that's when and it was cool. We got to sit there and watch you guys stalk and come up. And, and
I think it's funny because you picture a giraffe in your mind like it's going to stand out, like at a 4 foot grass, and you're going to see this thing. Well, the trees get pretty big. They do blend in well. I mean, I know you guys see them quickly because you guys are used to it, but they do blend in a little bit. And there was actually 4, and I had only seen 1.
Yeah, they did give us a little bit of a runaround this morning. So.
They did. They definitely made us drive around a bit and make it into a hunt.
Yep.
And I didn't understand what you were talking about when you said, oh, it's going to be under 100 yards. And I'm like, there ain't no way we're going to get within 100 yards of one. But they don't. They're really not that scared of you at a distance.
No.
At a certain, they have their buffer zone.
Yes.
But you could definitely get close enough to them that I didn't expect. I thought there'd be a prey animal and they'd haul ass as soon as they saw you.
No. They just hang around and watch you.
Yes. And we've had discussions since I got here about where to shoot them. Well, unfortunately for a giraffe, they're born with targets on them. So we're walking along trying to get the right angle on this giraffe. And I said, hey, where do you want me to shoot him? And there's a perfect square, little square on the side. He goes right at the bottom of that square. And that was when we were trying to head him off. We were still trying to get him to go the right direction. So,
Yep.
And you hit it on the fucking line too. It was like exactly.
Yep.
I didn't want to
Perfect.
disappoint Neil, man. He gets all.
And where did the bullet end up? From my shot placement.
In the heart, top of the heart.
Top of the heart. It's where you want it to go. So, and he only took one shot.
One shot, and it went about, I've guessed somewhere between 75 to 100 yards.
Yep.
And it got wobbly. And to Neil's credit, he said, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
we were sitting about 150 yards or so back watching him, and we were up on the back of that truck. And when your shot went off, it sounded like we thought it was his gun. Something with the direction, or I think we heard the sound, we heard the shock, and we heard it hit like at the same time, and it made it sound louder. And we could see him, so you could tell he was hit because he was limping a little bit.
Yep.
And then he slowed down, and then started getting wobbly, and then basically kind of sat down.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. And it was 50-yard, 60-yard shot, maybe?
Yeah, 60-yard shot.
And I'm not an emotional person. You can ask my wife. She said I may be a little cold-hearted, but it did like touch me a little bit because the other one came up and was like right next to it going, "You all right, buddy?" And he's like, "Fuck no, I'm not okay." Yeah, that part was a little like it took me back for a second, but it was I wasn't full on Jake where I wouldn't, his head fall down and slap down like on Land Before Time, but it was pretty. It's just how damn big they are. It's just you're kind of at awe at the size of those suckers when you walk up to them.
It's a monster.
Yep.
Yeah, it was awesome, and it was an awesome experience. So I appreciate it, Neil.
No, thank you for for proving me wrong. So
Yeah.
And
It was Peter said this morning that if you take this down with one shot, I'm ordering 200 rounds from you. I did hear something like that.
And me and Tanya watched tonight, even watched more, quite a few giraffe getting shot, and they're shooting 375, 416s, and they took multiple. I'm not saying this is a one-off. This is one animal, so we know what we know from one animal.
yes,
But they took 2-3 shots on those animals. I don't know if they were shot. My shot was damn near perfect, thanks to Neil's direction.
Yes.
But a lot of shots probably aren't as perfect as that.
yeah. No, it worked out well.
It was quite.
As soon as the animal went down, Jess turned around to me and said, "We're going to have to order a bunch more 6UM dies." And I said, "Yeah, and I'm going to have to order more reamers, more 6UM barrels."
Yeah, I guess comparatively, we could talk about the one. So I'm shooting the 147 ELDM, and it's been a few big animals now. So the first animal was a waterbuck. Hit him good. He didn't really run off too much. He turned around and went the other way broadside and was standing there. So I sent another one just because he was still standing there, and he dropped. No exit wound on either one.
Right.
Lots of internal damage. The next animal was the nyala the next day. The nyala went about 100 yards or so and then died again. No exit wound and just destroyed inside. And then the next one was the kudu. Again, about 100 yards. One shot, and again, no exit wound. So all of these were difficult because there was no blood to track.
And what I've seen and if not taking any away from the shot, but it looked farther back in the crease than it should have been.
The kudu, yes.
But the match, I think that's where the match bullets shine, is because they are so damn destructive in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no blood trail on either, and that's why I brought up the fact that the PHs were fucking fantastic trackers. It took us right to them. No exit wound on the kudu. And then the Impala was a head-on shot, and she hit him dead center in the front of the chest area, and it was a bang flop. It didn't even take a step. So that, again, no exit wound on that one. Well, we felt the little piece of the bullet. We pulled a chunk of the bullet out from underneath the hide about 16 inches into the body. But the butchers couldn't recover anything. We kept Neil was offering him money to find the bullet. So none of the animals that we shot, any bullet was recovered at all.
Yeah.
But they all did the job. But again, no exit wound. Normally the DTAC has an exit wound, a massive exit wound. So obviously that goes to show that the giraffe is it is thick.
Oh,
Like left to right,
thick.
it might be 36 inches thick, and plus that fucking hide was like an inch thick.
Yeah, and the rib cage, when they pulled them apart, it ain't no damn elk rib cage.
No.
That fucker's like 3 of them stacked together.
Well, let's just say, so how many men were on the skinning crew?
I think they brought 6 together with Douglas. There were 7.
Yeah, so 7 guys had to come in and cut them up, and it took about, I think, 30 minutes. But there were fucking giant. There were machetes, there were chainsaws, there were anything you could imagine, and these guys were just flagrant with the blades, man. They were just
They were getting out.
they were flying all over next to each other. Not one of them. I didn't see anybody get cut.
Nope.
But these guys knew what the fuck they were doing.
It took 4 grown men to put that hind quarter in the truck.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's how fucking big that hind quarter.
Well, it filled up an entire, so you could call that was not a short bed. That was more like a long bed, mid-sized truck bed, and it was entirely full of meat.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's definitely not a pretty job, but it's effective.
Ooh.
Yes.
And kind of going, if you're kind of putting you on the spot, Neil, on this, why do we have to shoot giraffe? People ask, why would you want to shoot one? like conservation side, why do you shoot giraffes?
Well, there's a long and a short answer to that. To maybe land in the middle, we are still responsible for these animals. So we, I wouldn't say govern over them, but we look after them. They are in our hunting area, so we have to control the numbers. And every area in the whole of the world has a certain carrying capacity for that area. The more rain you have, the higher your carrying capacity. The less rain you have, the lower your carrying capacity. So our areas can only host so many animals. So we can't discriminate and say, well, the freaking ugly impala needs to be shot every week but the pretty giraffe gets to live. So we try to take off a percentage of the population every year. And the thumbsuck number is about 20%. So if you get 50% of your animals will be female, so you'll get 50% more animals every year. We lose about 25% to old age and predation, and we shoot about 25%. And that we try to apply from duiker throughout to giraffe.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't just go out and shoot. This will be the last giraffe for the season.
Mm-hmm.
So
The only one, yeah.
the one and only,
Yep.
because we only have so many of them. So we don't go out and just shoot animals. We have a certain, let's say, amount of species or amount of animals within a species we want to remove from our areas to be able to sustain, because we don't supplementary feed our animals. We don't give them anything than just land and water. So they need to sustain themselves. So we need to manage the numbers.
It's something like the circle of life, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's but maybe not the natural circle of life, but it's your mini ecosystem within your ranch land.
Correct. It's not natural anymore. It's a closed off big area. These animals cannot leave. If we leave them to just become a lot, like too many of them, they'll die of starvation because the food supply can't sustain the amount of animals.
Mm-hmm.
So it is sometimes not a fun responsibility, because certain animals do touch your heart a bit more than other. Some of them are a bit more cute than other. For instance, crocodiles. Crocodiles aren't a very cute animal. People do not have a problem shooting crocodiles.
Mm-hmm.
But if you mention the word elephant somewhere in there,
Like that warthog sitting on the table, nobody gives a
nobody
shit if you
gives a
shoot
shit
that
about the
warthog.
warthog because he's not pretty. It wasn't so. But that's why we try to do it as humane and as quickly as possible, as professional as possible, and give the animal the needed respect. And I think we accomplished all of that. So
Well said.
You know, there's something else that I wanted to talk about with bullet performance and how the requirements seem to change when we get to the big, dangerous game animals, you know, like the Cape buffalo, for example, that we consider the bullet performance of those Swift A-frames to be perfect.
yeah,
We now know from a lot of testing in ballistic gel that Form has done and, you know, Ryan and Jake are familiar with, a bullet that makes that nice, big, pretty mushroom does not do the most damage. However, you know, the idea is that it gets through the hide in the ribs, and then it goes crazy and tears up stuff inside, and that's what happened to the giraffe.
It's about weight retention.
But on the buffalo, now I don't know if that bullet would have tumbled through or whatnot. We found both of them on the hide that were the broadside shots. They didn't even exit on the buffalo. But what have you seen on that as far as these big controlled expansion bullets? The industry's gone away from that for most animals, but it seems like for the big dangerous game animals, that's not the case. We still want that classic mushroom bullet hold together weight retention. So what have you seen on that?
Well, I think with bullets that retain their weight, the moment the muzzle velocity comes down, they tend to punch right through, and then you lose a lot of energy in the dirt because it punches in and out both sides. So if you can have the bullet dump the energy within the animal, that would be perfect. On something like a buffalo, you want to get through the hard stuff first because they are the staple diet for lion. Buffalo, all their ribs overlap. They've got a very thick hide. So you need to get through that first. So you do need something that's going to hold up. You can't use something that's just going to blow apart because it's going to blow apart not reaching the vital.
And that happened to you earlier this year, didn't
Yes,
it?
it did happen. We had an unfortunate situation where they downloaded a 375 for a female that shot a 250 grain bullet that will maybe not be named. And she shot the buffalo on the point of the shoulder, and we only shot that buffalo 4 days later. And upon inspection, it never reached the cavity on a 250 grain bullet. In my personal opinion, and just my opinion, I think the sectional density on a 375 250 is just not enough. So you need to get through the tough stuff to be able to damage the soft stuff.
Yeah. Penetrating power.
Yes.
Yeah.
But with Blaine's game, they're not as tough. So there's light bones and skin to get through, and then you can just blow up everything on the inside.
It'll be interesting to see how my 416 works on the lighter animals.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious, because that bullet's not designed to expand in something like an Impala, but it still is going to be a 41 caliber hole through it. So it'll just be interesting. I thought the buffalo died pretty quickly, the one that we shot. I thought that
it did die quickly, but it never fell down. That's the one thing that kept us shooting. We felt we made good shots. Well, I didn't shoot, you shot, but it was we would walk up to a different angle, find it standing. We never found it laying down. When it fell down, it died. It never, generally animals will fall down and it'll kick on the ground, and this bull kept on standing. And we just kept on shooting. So.
The nyalas seem to be pretty tough, too. There are some of the plains game animals that are a little bit more tougher than the others.
Some of them can take a bit more than the other.
Yeah. And I guess that'll probably be eland and a nyala.
And waterbuck.
And a waterbuck.
Waterbuck, pretty tough.
Yeah.
wildebeest, too.
Oh, yeah. And
wildebeest.
Yeah.
And like Forum says, there are Medal of Honor animals out there.
Oh, yeah.
Don't go down.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Well, from my side, something I always ask people, because everybody has an idea of what they want to do and how they want to do it. If somebody, with what you know now, if somebody comes in the shop and says, I'm going to Africa next year, build me a gun. What do you chamber? What are you chambering for? And where do you land on platform in terms of length and weight? Just more or less. With knowing what you know now. And would it differ from what you brought on this trip?
So I think the first question will be, is it dangerous game or is it plains game?
Plains game. Just plains game.
So we just picture plains game?
Yes.
I think the rifle that we brought is doing a great job. It carries well. It's a good weight to shoot off a tripod. It's about 9.5 pounds. You definitely want a sling. It's not like a standard backpack style of hunting that we're used to. So a lot of people balk at a sling. We don't normally just walk around with a rifle. So definitely a sling. And after seeing what the 147 has done now, of course it's killed everything. With one shot. But I think maybe a blood trail, without a pH, a blood trail would be beneficial. I know we were getting, a 156 Burger Elite Hunter might be a better choice. But, yeah, we're killing everything. I think a 6.5 PRC or something like this is more than enough.
7 PRC, something like that.
Yeah, anything like that, because you're inside of 200 yards. I would say that you would probably say 99% of your shots are inside of 200 yards, or that's the goal. So that being said, you want something that's going to expand at even a higher velocity. After seeing obviously, the 6UM has probably changed your mind about 6mm bullets. I know that shooting smaller caliber, less recoiling rifles for follow-up shots is very important. So you can't just take a sample of one. Nobody here could have bet. You could have bet whatever you wanted, but nobody was 100% that it would have been one shot that killed the giraffe.
Yep.
Now, there's been a lot of shit that's died up until that point, including elk at long distance, but I guess that's probably a question for you, too, is now that you've seen... You were against it the whole time, but fucking Ryan is persistent.
Yep.
And we pretty much know he wasn't going to bring anything other than that, right? So it was fucking his world. But
he at one point he did want to bring a 6.7 PRC. It's and I told you it's the same thing. Just bring the one.
Yeah, but I thought that would be not that it would be different, but it'd be easier. Just because there's so much 7 PRC brass.
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem with the 6UM is there is not a lot of brass right at the moment. We're hoping to rectify that. At the moment, there is not a lot of 6.5 brass in the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I think if you were going to do the Nyala or the few that we just talked about that are a little heavier hitters, something maybe just a straight 7 PRC would be a good choice.
Yep.
How about a 300 PRC with 215 grain burger and not worry about it, man?
Depending who's shooting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Depending on who's shooting it.
You have to be able to control it.
But if you got a brake on it, they're all pussycats with a break.
Suppressors are
Yeah.
the answer.
Shooting with a suppressor definitely changes a lot of things, especially the communication with the PH. If everybody has to have fucking earplugs in,
It makes
that's a
it
different level of communication. So I think suppressed is probably pretty important for this style of hunting. But, a 6, I don't know. Might try a 6-7
I'm gonna
PRC.
refrain until the end of this trip.
Okay, we
Give
still
my 10
have a
cents.
few days to go. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Blaine, 416 all the way.
Absolutely. Well, if you're going to hunt a buffalo,
Okay, you're just hunting plain game. You're not coming for dangerous.
no,
at all.
I still like 30 cals. I've been a 30 cal guy forever, and I don't think anybody would say anything. A 300 Win Mag, a 300 PRC,
That's why
even
we
a
get
300
along,
rum.
me and him.
Because it just works. Well, you and I have talked about this. A 30 cal with a 225 ELDM or 215 Burger just work.
The fucking nuke.
Yeah,
Fight.
if you can shoot it.
It's hard to beat a 215 burger.
Yeah, and that's
I didn't say this, so it was the 6.57 PRC improved that I brought.
Yep.
So it's a 147 at 31.15 feet per second out of a 20-inch barrel.
But you are right. I think a 156 would be a really good answer here.
I think you'd probably get closer to you'd get a little bit less explosive
Yeah.
and make it a little closer to the hide, if not exit.
Yes. It's a hard little sucker.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So that might be a choice. And of course, this is all learning for us. So now maybe next time I come, might be a 156 or maybe a straight 7 PRC with a 180 hybrid target, something like that. But something in that range. It doesn't have to be. I don't think you need a 300 PRC. I really don't. Even as I said, we've already shot kind of the bigger, tougher ones with the 6.5, and it's getting the job done. Have something that you can stand on a tripod and shoot well. So we didn't say really. So the PH is walking in front of you with a tripod. And Peter was funny because I said, Peter, I'm going to send you guys a couple of those bags. Don't worry. He's all, you don't need to send it to me because this one's not leaving. He's talking about the Mullinator bag. I said, yeah, I was going to leave those two. I said, I'm going to send you some extra ones. So he's got the Mullinator strapped to the top of his tripod, and depending on who's up to shoot, they're ready with it adjusted to the right height. They check you ahead of time. So you walk up, and he basically places it, and right where the animal's in line, you put your rifle on top, you get your stance going. So don't shoot something that's so big you can't shoot well off a tripod.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't get to use a nice tripod
No.
because there's danger of them getting trampled, right?
Yeah.
So we took a cheap.
And we
stick
might
set.
leave it just right there.
Huck it and run.
Yeah, we did leave it, and then I just grabbed my backup, and then we were off. And
Yeah.
luckily, Douglas, he brought it with. So.
Yeah.
And I get there's a different school of thought from PH, the African hunter, that live here, is they walk. They don't take this wrong, but you guys shoot a lot and don't walk very far. We walk for days and shoot one time.
Yeah.
So we want kind of hopped up rounds, cheat the wind, because we might take that longer shot. Where you guys say, we're probably going to bump that thing. The next day we'll have another chance at that.
Yeah.
So it's a different school of thought on barrel life,
Yes.
especially.
Yeah.
So Neil, after seeing what the 6mm did on the giraffe, how long do you think it's going to take for other outfitters to come off the large bullet requirements that they place on customers today? For example, going to Alaska, killing whatever. Almost every outfitter has a recommendation of at least that you need to bring at least this.
Yeah.
How long do you think that's going to take to change?
I think a while.
No.
I think there's still a big stigma around certain. I think even outfitters don't shoot enough themselves to really understand what everything's capable of. Everybody is in the outfitting business is very stuck on 300 Win Mag.
Mm-hmm.
Very, because it drives a big bullet very fast. So that thing makes a tunnel no matter what you shoot. And they feel it makes up for bad shots. Because unfortunately because hunting in Africa is not, if you shoot, let's say you shoot a world-class buffalo or world-class elephant, doesn't necessarily mean you're a good hunter. It means he's got deep pockets.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's sometimes bad because you don't need to be a proficient hunter to come and hunt over here. So people feel that it makes up. I bring a big fast that's just going to blow half the animal out. So it makes up for what I lack in proficiency.
No.
And that's the wrong way of thinking about it. So rather go smaller, more precise, than just bigger and just putting the crosshairs on the animal and then punching that trigger.
So like in Blaine's situation, going out to try and find an impala, and he has my rifle and his rifle sitting there together, you would prefer him to shoot the smaller caliber rifle.
Yes, yeah.
For more control.
For more control. But that's why I'll never go buffalo hunting like very first day, jump off the truck and go hunting. I want to see the guy. I want to see how he's going to react. I need to, not just his life, but more importantly, my life is on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to see how he's going to react. So that's why I told Blaine, no, wait, we're going to go see if we can shoot an impala. We didn't shoot anything, but I got to see enough that I felt comfortable. It's like, okay, we can go and do this. So that's more important. And that's where, even though all the guides are very different, one thing they do have in common is they can tailor-made themselves to fit you the best. They can if they see the proficiencies up here, they'll ramp it up. If you have one fucking leg, they'll come down to your speed. So
and you can give them a leg.
Yep, and I can give them a leg. So we have to kind of adapt to the requirements of the client. And sometimes people, just to get back to the point, they think big and fast. It's going to kick you off the sticks in any case, so I'd rather put a big bullet somewhere. And I think that needs to change a little bit, but I doubt that it will.
No.
Of course, you can be proficient with the bigger guns, but you got to pay your dues.
Yes.
Like I said, I learned years ago how to handle recoil, but I'm 250 rounds preparing for this hunt of 55 pounds of recoil per trigger pull.
Yeah.
And you just learn how to do it. And that's a comfortable level for me.
Yeah.
But still, if you use a 6.5 PRC, you would be more precise.
Oh, absolutely, because
yeah.
I got a 6-power scope, which is kind of limiting, which is perfect for buffalo. But on some of these shots in these animals, the 6-power scope is like, dang, I wish I had 2 or 3 more power.
Too many people, it's hunting season, better take the 3-06 out of the safe, still have a box of ammo, go to the range, bang, bang. Oh, it's hitting paper, let's go. That happens more than you think.
Yeah.
So
Well, you must know a lot of Americans.
Yeah.
I do think the 6.5 PRC here is probably about
It's a
Plains
good
game
choice.
side is really good.
Yeah,
choice.
really good choice.
Yeah.
It's a sensible cartridge.
Well, we got 2.5 more days, so we got 2.5 more days of podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Well, this won't be the last.
No.
When are you guys going after this?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We're trimming off the fat. Now we're going to be more pinpoint precise.
Fuck,
Yeah.
we're gonna have one of everything by the time we're done. So there's still what's the one that you said you guys are fighting over?
There's an eland. There's another nice kudu bull out there.
Yeah, so maybe a kudu bull.
A sable. There's a sable out there too.
Yep. Sable.
Is that Ryan? Ryan going for a sable?
T for Tanya
So Tanya wants an eland and a sable.
or
Either or.
Yeah.
I'm trying to push her towards the sable because I like them.
Yeah.
and then Gemsbuck.
Yeah, I'd like to shoot that Gibbs book right there. It'd be badass.
Mhm.
I have not seen one yet. I don't know if anybody has seen one yet.
Nope.
But is there an area we haven't been that we're gonna go check those out?
No.
Oh, really?
We're just gonna rinse and repeat. Unfortunately,
Okay.
yeah. and
So
see
it's
if we
just a
can-
rare sighting.
They're just not as many of them. They're
Yeah.
not native to this area.
Oh, then of course a big fat warthog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we ain't seen one of those yet.
Yeah.
We've seen lots of warthogs, but not like the ones with the fucking tusk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Luke's telling me my time on the shot was 1 minute to death.
Oh,
That's pretty
Okay.
damn good.
that is good. Yep.
We got real.
And we're going to be a little bit, for those of you that are listening, we're going to be a little bit careful with what type of footage we post. There are a lot of people that are sensitive to the giraffe situation. So not, I guess we still have to talk about how we're going to handle it, but yeah, you may or may not see all of the details.
You got to keep a little bit classy.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly.
But it is all on video as far as the single shot from the 6UM, 1 minute to death.
Yep.
That's the next thing you see is, sure, it was one shot.
You get
Yeah, exactly.
you get the video with all your 6UM purchases. So
Yeah.
if you buy a 6UM,
Hey.
the
There we
package
go.
deal is the video. The video
He
is
is a marketer. Look at the guy.
There you go. And then if you do have a 6UM and you're going to be hunting Plains game,
You have to
Neil would
send
be
that-
more than happy to have you.
I will.
You have to send it to your PH.
Yeah.
Come to Neil. He already knows.
Yes.
All right.
Nice.
We'll have a few more episodes. Thanks for listening.
Thank
All right.
you.